Hi there everybody, my name is Kate and welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. Let's talk about the uncomfortable pause, the silent pause. Oh no, what's that? You know, when somebody lands a turd in the punch bowl and everybody goes, what do we do now? Except I'm not talking about deliberately landing turds in punch bowls. I'm talking about when we have the conversation with someone and we say whatever our truth is, we lay it out to bear, and we don't go belly up with it and wait for them to stab our vulnerable underbelly. We stay very much in our position, not an offensive, not a defensive, just in our position, and we put it back in their arena. We lob it back to their court with, and this is what is true for me. Ow, we wait for that uncomfortable pause that most of us, we start filling in the blanks immediately. But you know, you don't have to, blah, blah, blah. We start stammering, yammering, and oh my goodness, looking for a way that we can scamper up out of here or wait for that person to run away. This is a style of communication that I actually learned from my ex-husband, and I didn't know how to do this when I was married. I used to be one of those stammerers, and I still can when I get uncomfortable or I get lost in the conversation that I've gotten distracted and I'm trying to find my way back gracefully. I can start falling into that habit quite easily, that I'll start filling in blanks that aren't even there. Baby, just stand there and give the stare, not a cold stare necessarily, just give the opportunity for that silence to land there. And if it's a turd in the punch bowl, well then 144, we'll deal with that, or somebody's going to deal with it. However, it doesn't have to be that. It can be viewed as, this is highly uncomfortable, this is very tense. Now, the way some people use this, silent pause thing is to use it as a potential control point. And that's not what I'm talking about. That was actually how that was expressed to me by my ex-husband, that put it back on their plate, lob it back over and just wait for them to take the bomb that's getting ready to explode in them. And sometimes, we are waiting for that to make its impact. And I'm not going to be as willing to want to use that as a tactic of trying to control, manipulate, or humiliate, or anything like that. And I don't know. He was talking about it from a work standpoint, where it was a very much a corporate culture that needed to be, dealt with in a very different way than intimate relationships. Unfortunately, that was how that had to play. And so I understood. However, being able to sit with the silence of allowing someone to process the information and accept or reject, whatever it is that I've said, if I don't give a whole lot more, if there isn't conversation that a person can go, cool, we can just deflect back over there and say, see, you're just rambling, or you're just blah, blah, blah. We leave it on their plate with, this is what this is, and it's what I'm saying to you, it's true, period. And end it without the argument, without the shame, without all the and the stank and the game. It really can bring up some very uncomfortable seconds, minutes, years, days, whatever it is. However, it's not ours to own. If we're standing there and we're feeling that discomfort, it's okay. Why do we feel uncomfortable with unloading ourselves as being, I'm standing in my authenticity and this is what I need to say to you? From me, this is what I need to say in order to be free. If that brings up discomfort in us, it could be that we're just not used to that yet. And the more we practice those moments where we don't fill in the blank, we don't, suddenly become cowering or wondering, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, or start apologizing for ourselves or stumbling over ourselves in some way, or start justifying what we've said. These are carefully practiced moments, if we can, and getting so good that we can be on the fly with it, no matter where we are, being who we are, standing in what we are, and unloading the habit of explaining ourselves or over justifying or doing anything, or using that silent moment, that pause, as a tool of manipulation. Either way of it, it's just most of us, when we're put into that silent moment, you often find eyes go to the floor and, we're shifting around. We're looking for something else to do. We're looking for a way to escape. We're looking for anybody, an alien to come and body snatch us. Please get me out of here so I don't have to feel this, because we don't want to deal with the real of what's happening. We either don't want to deal with the real of how we feel with what truth is being said to us, if it is in fact truth. We don't want to deal with what's being said to us. Either it's too hitting too close to home, or it's just abuse and we don't want to be a part of it. Or we're sitting with the discomfort as the other side going, wow, I see that that person is very uncomfortable with what they're hearing from me. How can I make it better? We're trying to rescue ourselves, we're trying to rescue someone else, and none of those things are appropriate. Really, the truthful thing is that when I need to express something to someone and I let that land without explaining myself, without justifying myself, without giving myself any other props other than this is me. I have the right to express myself to you, and I have a right to express whatever it is that I'm imparting to you. If I truly do, I wouldn't advise that we just go get the pregnant pause all with, strangers and stuff, but I'm talking about an intimate communication. If we're in an intimate relationship, then I have the right to express myself. If we're going to have ongoing, continued relationship and communication, it has to be changing. It has to be okay for me to sit with that pregnant pause of, yeah, that's really on you to deal with however you need to. However, this is what is my reality, and I'm okay standing in my discomfort with this, because I'd rather have the discomfort for a few times of this moving at rocket speed. The minute we really get good at that, silent pause, that pregnant pause, the let that land, it's okay. The better we get at that, the easier it will be to get stepping into our authenticity, where we no longer fill in gaps and we no longer use control methods for how we're going to avoid people who are our gap installers. Pregnant gap installers are sometimes, some of the most brutal to talk to. However, it is a strategy in business, I understand. It just becomes very, very difficult when we have that at home, or we get somebody who gives us the silent treatment, all different forms of it. However, I'm not talking about any form of manipulation. I'm just talking about when we open our mouth and say something, this is a need of mine, this is what I would like from here on out, this, and this, period. And then wait for whatever comes out of that. It gives a person no time to scamper away with some other agenda. Like if they've already been answering the question or getting their retort back, ready for a crossfire whenever we're talking, if they've already geared that up, it's going to be a little bit harder for them if we leave them with that and we don't engage them. We let them say whatever they need to say when they finally open their mouth. It usually startles people. If we haven't communicated like that, we're usually begging for forgiveness before we even start, asking for what we justifiably need or unjustifiably need, asking for whatever we think we need, period, whether it's justified or not in somebody else's mind. We think it is. And so we're usually already accommodating whatever the style is of the person on the other side. And what I'm suggesting to you is to live with the discomfort of whatever the other person has. If they're already formulating their response, leave that silence there, that they're going to stop talking eventually. And it's usually quite awkward. It usually will cause a few different reactions. I've seen that people start, looking really confused, like what's going on? We're usually arguing by now, or it steps them up into something even greater, which can be, be careful who you're dealing with, better than me. In my own experience, though, I've noticed that the quieter that I was becoming in conversations and the less that I allowed someone to sit idly for a few minutes, the more I let someone sit idly for a few minutes in their own thoughts before I filled mine in for them. I can't, be predicting. I can't be reading their mind and telling them what they're thinking. If I really want to give them the opportunity to give me what they're thinking, whether it's honest or not, I really need to shut my mouth and allow that pregnant pause, that moment of brief reprieve in the conversation to be a little bit longer and not so brief, and allow that to just sit there like the turd in the punch bowl. That, okay, if it's landed there and that's what it is, then so be it. However, it's not going to change the nature of the punch. It's not going to change the punch a whole bunch if I go and snatch the turd up out of there. It's already contaminated. Conversation is already contaminated. It's already uncomfortable, and we both know what just happened here, and neither one of us really want to drink this Kool-Aid anymore or this punch anymore. However, unless we deal with the fact that that's what that was, that's what happened, we're going to be drinking out of that punch bowl. Let's be honest. That's just the way we play this, is because we don't want to really, engage in conversations that's uncomfortable or look people in the eye to have to say, yeah, that's what that is an uncomfortable conversation that now we need to have a moment of silence for what just died there, like an ego death, or the death of a really bad idea that this is going to continue this way. We only get better at doing this by stepping through this, and we're really awkward usually when we're learning to communicate in a different way with people who we've been communicating the same way with probably our whole lives. This is a new paradigm that's coming to us. It's not new information to have better styles of communication. It's just that we're really seeing it everywhere, the need to move into a different way of doing things, because the paradigm has shifted. You see people that are not willing to live in their old falsehoods, or to live with their old ideas, or to be told that they have to live with somebody else's old ideas. Why do you think you see so many breaking outs? How much breaking out of identities that we see everywhere, of people saying, no, this is me and I don't apologize for me. It becomes easier and easier the more that we can sit in those pregnant pauses, or get less invested in creating those power differentials and those power dynamics. It's really about just sitting with the discomfort of whatever it is. For me personally, it was why it was suggested to me, the pregnant pause, that power pause was suggested to me, is because I did used to talk a whole lot. I still do. It's just I really don't talk a whole lot with people that, if it's going to turn into that, I've gotten much better because of that quiet, pause, just in general conversation, period. To stop talking so much, Kate, that it's 11:11. It's given me the opportunity to understand and see that, oh, this is a dynamic that's building into one of those, yeah, I need to end this conversation. And that's where it can get very uncomfortable with people on the other side. However, it does get easier from my end. It certainly has, because what do I have to lose here, friend? That I'm going to lose myself in this if I don't put an end to this, if I don't have a boundary, if a pregnant pause, or a momentary pause in the conversation, or a power pause, whatever you call that lapsing conversation where I'm not filling it in with any kind of trying to guess what you're thinking, or, apologizing for what I'm thinking, or apologizing for what I think you're thinking, or any of that. If I'm not already jumping the gun, we do that because of our anxiety with dealing with the reality of, we show up sometimes with our belly up and expect that we're not going to feel vulnerable. There's no reason to believe that we don't have a belly. It's a matter that just because we have one doesn't mean we have to ride exposing it to everyone. It means that we acknowledge, hey, I have vulnerability. However, I'm not coming here waiting for you to stab me with this. I'm also not coming assuming that you're going to. Unless I know that about you, then I'm prepared. But I don't have to show up in any particular way other than I am a creature that has a soft underbelly. Yes, I do. However, what's that to you? How is that relevant to you? And if I think that I have to show up already meager and soft and, oh my God, and victimized and stuff, then my pregnant pause isn't really going to be there. It's not going to be there at all. It's going to be aborted right from the very beginning, because I won't even think that I deserve to stand up for myself in any way. I don't deserve to have a voice. I don't deserve to have a say. All I deserve is to argue with someone back and forth about what I think I deserve. If I really truly believed what I deserved was what I was saying I deserved, then I'd be able to stand in that discomfort. I would be worth standing up for me more than I'm willing to stand up for the discomfort that somebody else would feel. I need to be standing up for the discomfort I feel, which is possibly about yours, but it's still mine to deal with mine and not worry about what's causing yours. Because the more I deal with why am I uncomfortable with that person hearing my reality, there's something about me and my soft underbelly that I would do very well to go away for a few minutes, go away for a long time, go away for however long it takes to figure out, why am I showing up with my soft underbelly as the presenting part, and why would I need to gun up to prevent that from happening? There's a great balance in between that. We don't have to wear a suit of armor everywhere we go, and we certainly don't have to show up like a flopped out possum, that's half dead to the whole world, because then we're just becoming victimized some more. So I hope that's been helpful to you in some way. And that pregnant pause thing, man, it's quite a tool. It's very much a very good tool to use when it's not used as a power tool in terms of trying to elicit a particular kind of response out of someone to make them feel a certain way. Standing with the reality of, this is my body, this is my soul, this is my everything, and here I am, and I have a soft underbelly, and I'm not presenting it to you, then I don't have to worry. And even if I am presenting it to you, then I can be strong enough to stand in the discomfort of putting on a little Teflon to say, and I'm not going to let you harm me, no matter what you do, whether your silence is golden or not, whether you're screaming or not, whether you're carrying on and unhappy with me or not. I'm doing what I need to do to deal with that discomfort. So take care of yourselves, as I said, and enjoy your day and get within your skin, because you're divine. It is so, so magical and so, so fine. Take care. I'll see you again next time. Mwah.